Hello my friends, welcome back to Keto and the Chaos. My name is Tammy and this is Mentor Monday. Okay, so firstly, I need to apologize for getting this video out so late. Normally I videotape Mentor Mondays on Sunday so that I can get it out really early in the morning for you guys, but as you know from my video yesterday, my 54-week weigh-in, I wasn't feeling that great yesterday, and so filming was not something that I really wanted to do. I'm feeling lots better today, but I did have to wait until the kids were done with all of their homeschool before I could take over the space and make it so that I could do a video for you guys. So I apologize that this is coming out late in the day, but I hope you can forgive me and understand. Secondly, I just need to say thank you. Thank you so much for your support. All of your comments meant so much to me, and I'm going to get over there and I'm going to get answering all of them and talking to you guys. But I have read all of your comments and I've been so grateful. You've really rested my fears about having a bigger channel. I should have known that I would have the awesomest subscribers that ever lived. So thank you for being so supportive and giving me great ideas. I've definitely thought about all of them. I've definitely considered every single one of them. I'm really grateful for all the comments. Oh my gosh, I'm just overwhelmed with joy and love and peace and feeling so much better today. You know, we all have our bad days, and sometimes on YouTube, the hard thing is that you have to put a video out, even if you're really not feeling up to it. And that's the beauty of YouTube, is that you really get to see really who people are, because they're really raw and show you that side of them, because they really don't have a choice if they have a schedule of getting videos out. So while I'm sad you guys had to see that side of me, I have to say, for those of you who haven't been around very long, I do actually have depression. Keto has helped me a ton with my depression. It's kept me really even keel. I don't really have as many ups and downs, but I do still have down days, and some things really can still be triggering. And so I'm still working on that. I'm not medicated for my depression. I'm choosing not to be, and I'm doing okay. But you just have to understand that sometimes I might get weepy, and I'm glad that you guys were like okay with that. It was mortifying for me. I'm like really embarrassed. I can't even watch the video. But I am really grateful for all of your support and for being there for me when I'm having a rough go. But you guys know weight loss is not linear, and weight loss is not easy, and it's a long road, and it has a lot of emotions attached to it, and you just have to be willing to come up like a Treyu in the mirror and face who you are and either accept it or not. Like, I have to accept that I am who I am and move through that mirror and move on with my life. If you can't do that, that's where you find yourself turning to food. You know, you have to be able to face those demons when you decide that food isn't going to control your life anymore. But that's not what this video is about, so let's get to it. So today, for Mentor Monday, we are talking about macros. Ironically, Sandy from Sandy's Losing It is also talking about macros. So I haven't watched her video yet, so if I say some of the same things, I apologize in advance, but she's super cool and so am I, so hey, maybe we'll have the same info or maybe we'll have different info. So in this episode, I want to cover 3 things. Firstly, what are macros? Secondly, how do I know how much my macros are? And thirdly, why do macros matter? So those are the 3 questions I'd like to answer in this little video, and I hope that you'll get something out of this and that maybe you'll learn something you didn't already know. So, first question, what are macros? So, macro is short for macronutrient. I'll tell you what, last January when I started keto, I had no idea what a macro was. I'd never even heard the term macros. When I went to go join the Ketogenic Dieters Board, they had a questionnaire and asked me what are macros, or I think they asked, like, do you know what macros are? And my answer was no, because I had no idea. Now they ask you what are macros, and you need to put in the answer. So I'm about to give it to you. If you're going to join my board, you're going to need to know the answer. So the answer of what are the three main macronutrients in food: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Those are the three. So those are the three main things, macronutrients, that we need in order to be healthy and have our bodies work the way they need to work. It's the main three things that make up all of the food we eat. Proteins, fats, and carbs, they're in all the foods we eat. So that is what a macro is. So question number 2, how do I know what my macros are? So there are different schools of thought when it comes to macros and keto. If you look at many ketoers out there, they're doing a lot of higher fat version than what I am doing. For a optimal keto meal, I believe the protein fat carb ratio is 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbs. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. I am not that kind of keto channel, so I can't even tell you about that. But I will tell you that in order for you to lose fat, you need to also watch your calories. So if you're going to be doing a higher fat keto, you still need to make sure your calories are kept in check. So, and to do that, you're going to still want to count your macros. If you want to do the lower fat, higher protein version of keto that I do, you would probably want to go to join Ketogenic Dieters to get access to their chart. So they have a macro chart there that they have developed through the years. They actually started as a high fat, low carb Facebook group, but over time, while studying the science of Stephen Phinney, they have decided that they wanted to develop macros that were a little bit more geared towards cutting. So I don't know if you've heard of the term cutting, but basically it means when you're cutting fat off your body, but you're retaining your lean muscle mass. So they decided that they would go create a chart that used macros that had these things in mind. So they used calories to base it on, and they used grams of protein per pound of lean body mass, got the average lean body mass for height for women and men, and used that to put the chart together. So I can't give you that chart because it doesn't belong to me. It actually belongs to the Facebook group Ketogenic Dieters. It is 100% free. I'm going to link the group in the description, so if you want to join, let me know you found me so I can keep an eye on you over there. You know, plug for the group because all the info's over there. Anyway, so they have a chart that is listed, it's in increments of height, and it's about 10 grams of protein differences. So for a woman of 4'11", their protein grams would be 100, and a woman of 5'8", their protein grams would be 130. So it's based on average. It's definitely not custom, but these cutting macros are working for me really well. I'm 5'7", and so my macros are 120 grams of protein, 78 grams of fat, and fewer than 21 carbs per day. And I try really hard to stick to that. Sometimes I go over my protein, and that's okay. Sometimes I end up going over or under my fat. I don't stress over that too much. I try and keep it under, and I try and keep it no more than 10 under, because the fats are really set at the optimal level for cutting without losing your mind. Because as you know, if you're doing keto, fat is very satiating. It helps you to be feeling good on this diet. And I get told a lot that my version of keto isn't sustainable because it's not satisfying enough. And I beg to differ. I'm very satisfied with the amount of fat that I take in, because I'm also taking in a higher level of protein. And I really feel like that it's very satisfying. So if you want to get your macros from the Ketogenic Dieters, join there and get them there. If you want to have a more customized macro for this moderate fat, higher protein way of doing it, you can go to Google the Navy Body Fat Calculator, do all of your measurements, get your basic lean body mass or fat mass number, and you can go to ketogains.com. I'm also going to link that in the description below. And you can use their calculator. Make sure you set the calculator to sedentary and fat loss so that you make sure you get the optimal cutting macros, because it doesn't matter how much exercise you're doing. This protein level is higher, and so you're not going to lose your muscle mass. You really don't need to add more calories if you're exercising. So go ahead and just set it to sedentary and fat loss, and you'll get your macros that way. If you've had a DEXA scan, even better, because you have a more accurate depiction of what your actual lean body mass is, and you want to eat the optimal amount of protein to preserve it. And so if you've had a DEXA scan, that makes it even easier to use the Keto Gains calculator to determine your custom macros. Personally, I use the average macros, and I probably will until I get much closer to my goal weight. As I approach my goal weight, and if I start to stall, I will go ahead and try either using the Navy Body Fat Calculator or go get a DEXA scan or a BOD pod. Find out what my lean body mass is so that I can customize my cut even more. But for now, this is working for me. I have, gone from 374 pounds to 235 pounds. That's 139 pounds, and I'm feeling amazing. So I wouldn't worry about doing that until you get to a place where you stall. And a stall is 6 weeks with no change in weight or inches. So a stall is not what I'm going through right now, where I'm having trouble with water weight or whatever. A true stall is a 6-week period with no change. So that is, I probably won't really attempt to do anything different really, at least macro-wise, until I get to the point where I maybe stall out. If you're stalling out on a higher fat version, you may want to switch up to mine and see what happens. And question number 3, why is it important for me to track my macros? So it's very important if you're on a fat loss journey to track your macros, because as much as you think you're eyeballing your food, you know what 6 ounces of steak looks like, I have discovered through personal experience that my eyeballs were wrong. And in order to know for sure that your caloric amount is where you set it to be, you need to track what you are eating. And that's the long and short of it. So the easiest way to do that is in your phone. Most everybody has a cell phone, a smartphone these days. We are so lucky to have such amazing technology that make tracking so easy. I'll tell you what, 20 years ago when I wanted to lose weight, you couldn't use, you had to write it out on paper, and there wasn't even like Google available to look it up and figure out what the USDA recommendations were. You had to buy a book on your carbohydrate counts and things like that, and it was really complicated. In today's lovely age of information, we are ultimately blessed, especially in the weight loss community, because we are able to have these to track our food. So the app that I recommend is Chronometer. I've tried MyFitnessPal, I've tried Samsung Health. I have not tried a few of the other ones that people have recommended. You can use whatever tracking app you like, but double check your entries. Make sure they're correct. The reason I use Chronometer is it seems to have the most correct entries. Especially on MyFitnessPal, there are a lot of entries that other people have just entered, and who knows if they entered them correctly. We do not know. And most of the time, the potassium number is left off, and so it makes it really difficult to track your potassium. So I use Chronometer because it has USDA recommendations. I try and stick to those wherever possible and try and double check if I feel like something's off. So if you're having a hard time reaching your potassium number, or if you have a hard time reaching your protein number, you feel like you're eating so much food or your fats seem too high, double check your entries and make sure they're correct, because you never know, one of them might be off and you might be consuming too much or too little of your macros. You should be also tracking your micros, especially your electrolytes. And on here it is so handy. You can see all of the different, I don't know if you can see it or not, but if you get Chronometer on your phone, you can see all of the different micronutrients, and you can put numbers, the numbers that you want to meet of your macros and your micros in there. So the important ones are, of course, electrolytes. Check out my video from last week on electrolytes, and you'll know how much you should be getting of each of those things. And put those in your app as well, so you make sure you're getting enough sodium, magnesium, and potassium to feel great and be healthy. All right, well, and that's all I have for you guys today. I'm sorry this video is a little bit disjointed. I have actually recorded this thing like multiple times at this point, and my 15-year-old is having a day. He also has depression, and you just never know when it's going to flare up, and he has been taking it out on every soul in this house today, which makes it hard on a mom. and he was supposed to be leaving, and he ended up not leaving, and so then I had to leave to go. Well, anyway, too much information. Needless to say, I'm sorry this video has taken 40,000 years to get out to you. I hope it was beneficial. Please ask any questions you have down below. I love to answer your comments. I'm doing the very best I can at getting to all of them. And I will talk to you again soon.